Long ago, in a small village surrounded by green hills and flowing rivers, lived a young man named Wei. The village was simple, the people humble, and life often tough. Wei, like many others, worked hard on his family's farm. But there was something different about him. He carried a dream that others couldn't see. One chilly morning, as mist rolled off the hills, Wei knelt in his barren field with a small pouch of seeds in his hand. These weren't just any seeds, they were the seeds of the legendary Chinese bamboo tree. He had heard tales of how this tree grew higher than anything else, changing the lives of those who nurtured it. It was a gamble, but Wei believed. He had to. With great care, Wei planted the seeds deep into the soil. Every day after, he watered the ground, pulled weeds, and made sure the soil stayed rich and healthy. Weeks passed, then months. But nothing happened. The other villagers noticed. Some laughed, others pitied him. "Why waste your time, Wei?" they said. "You could be planting rice or millet instead. At least those things grow." But Wei would only smile and say, "Great things take time." The first year went by, and Wei's field looked no different from the empty fields beside it. The villagers began calling him Dreamer Wei, a name that wasn't meant kindly. Even Wei's family started to worry. "Maybe it's just a story," his mother said one evening. "No one in this village has seen a bamboo tree like that." Wei nodded, but didn't stop. Every day, he carried buckets of water to the field, his faith like a tiny flame in a storm, flickering but alive. In the second year, a terrible storm hit the village. Crops were ruined, homes damaged, and many of the villagers lost what little they had. Wei's small field was flooded, his hard work seemingly washed away. As he stood knee-deep in muddy water, even he felt the weight of doubt pressing against him. But something inside him whispered, "Don't give up." The next morning, as the sun rose, he was back in the field, repairing the damage and watering the invisible seeds. The villagers shook their heads. "He's chasing a shadow," they said. By the third year, nothing had grown, not a single sprout. Wei's belief, once so strong, began to crumble. "What if they're right?" he thought. "What if I'm wasting my life on a foolish dream?" Late one night, as he sat by the dim glow of a lantern, he decided to visit an elder in the village. The elder listened to Wei's doubts and then said something curious. "The bamboo grows where it cannot be seen first. It's not failure, Wei, it's preparation." Those words stayed with him. Wei returned to his field the next day, not because he was certain, but because he was hopeful. In the fourth year, life in the village changed again. A drought swept through, leaving the fields cracked and dry. Villagers scrambled to save their crops, but many failed. Yet, Wei kept watering his patch of dirt. People now saw him as stubborn, foolish, even hopeless. "Why don't you just give up?" a neighbor asked. Wei didn't answer, but deep inside, he was asking himself the same question. That night, he made a promise to himself. "One more year. If nothing happens, I'll stop." And then, just when Wei was ready to walk away, it happened. One crisp morning, he saw it. A small green shoot poking through the earth. His heart raced. It was tiny, barely noticeable, but it was there. In the days that followed, the shoot began to grow and grow and grow. In just 6 weeks, it soared over 80 feet into the sky. The villagers, who had once mocked Wei, now stood in awe. "How is this possible?" they whispered. But Wei knew. Beneath the soil, the bamboo had spent 5 long years building its roots, strong, deep, and unshakable. Without that foundation, it could never have grown so high, so quickly. The bamboo tree didn't just change Wei's life, it transformed the entire village. Its tall stalks provided shade, its wood brought new opportunities, and its presence reminded everyone of an important truth. Growth often happens where we cannot see it. The villagers no longer called him Dreamer Wei. Instead, They came to him for advice, for inspiration. And Wei, standing tall like his bamboo tree, reminded them, sometimes the greatest things take the longest time. The story of Wei and his bamboo tree teaches us that patience, persistence, and faith are the keys to overcoming life's hardest challenges. The storms may come, the doubts may grow, but beneath it all, something is happening. So, if you're in a season where nothing seems to be working, remember, the roots are growing. Your time will come. Stay consistent, stay hopeful. If this story inspired you, be sure to share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And don't forget to subscribe to Nobel Tales for more stories of wisdom, hope, and transformation. Together, let's grow into the best versions of ourselves.